Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
I broke my boom.
You did?
It's broken in a million pieces.
Wow.
I mean, I think I can put it back together.
Just because I was late? It was like a raid?
No. This happened a couple of days ago. And I did a Zoom show with it holding like this. If it's not making any noise, it feels better than me.
Okay.
Is it making noise?
No, just as long as your hands don't move around on the mic, we're fine.
Am I a professional, Josh? Am I not a professional?
I don't know. I've seen you take 2 microphones, tuck one under your armpit.
You know, I never told you the reason why I did that is because it was like a prank. I heard that if I had COVID, it would be like really in the armpit area.
Right.
So I was trying to really just give a moist socket to the next person. That's the right word.
You were pulling a Rudy Gobert to those who...
Well, to make it more embarrassing, I tried 2 things today. I tried wrapping a... Here, I have the boom arm. So first I had... Well, I tried it with my feet. It's not going to work with my feet. But then I had a what's it called?
I don't know.
It's like a sandbag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it just wasn't wrapping around it.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So then, I know people at home can't see it. So then what I did was I taped this boom stand to my table here. And this is what it sounded like. It kept coming off and stuff.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
The first part wasn't stupid.
We used to tape them to upright vacuum cleaners to use as a mic stand.
I actually thought now if Susan was up. Well, I mean, I've been thinking about this last couple of days, but we're doing a lot of things around the house. I can't talk to you about it. This Kennedy guy, he's not the real Kennedy.
Yeah.
He said that he's really a terrible man. You know him, right? John Kennedy, the guy who's terrible.
John Kennedy, the Mississippi senator? Or
yeah.
Louisiana?
And he's
Mississippi or Louisiana?
I think it's Louisiana. And he's always saying terrible things. Now he's saying that Mexicans are eating cat food and the military needs to stop. I mean, this guy...
He's worried that they're stealing cat food or that...
No, he's saying he's portraying them as eating cat food. Mexicans eat cat food. I didn't hear... I can't verify.
That would sound like it would be a plea for help for the Mexicans.
Well, I don't think you can turn lemonade out of his lemons. He's just he's terrible. I wish I could explain how hard. I don't know if you ever listened to him, but
he's cartoon horrible.
And he also has the country voice. Now, I maybe have just been. I'm not somebody. Maybe I'm just an old-fashioned country racist. Now, you're going to have to explain to me, Mrs. Mexican. Are you Mexican? Would you like some cat food? Hey, I had a voice there for a couple of seconds, right?
You had a character. I don't know if it was a voice, but it was. I've now in the last couple of weeks, I feel like you're going the opposite way with my singing. That you're doing a lot of barbs about my singing. Like it started with, excuse me, Andy, why are you singing this song with me? This is my moment. No, it wasn't that. It was, I hate it when you sing along. I think that's
right. That's right. Okay, I forgot the wording. I forget the wording sometimes.
But no, I was trying to sing a song that someone had written in, and you were singing like a word behind me.
I was trying to do harmony. Just leave me alone. It was a bad idea. I'm sorry. What was the song that I had to jump in on?
It was, I think it was Hard Day's Night parody.
Oh. I had a shoe in my soup. It made me hungry. I got another shoe. That's how you do song parodies, right?
It is.
And then it's worth it just to hear you come. Stuff like that.
Well, if you get, you don't always have to go dirty, but yeah.
But that's what I would do. And when I come home to you, you know that I'm just a Jew, right? That's not bad either, right?
No, it's great.
But your mind is wandering, I notice.
Yes, it is. I'm telling you. My mind wandered when we were supposed to start. I forgot. This
is unbelievable.
I Mr. Send you a reminder last night. We're doing Sunday.
And then
I thought
I
you had
woke up.
died.
I woke up knowing I was going to do a podcast, and then Mr. ADD floated in, and off I went.
Oh, that's so. Why can't I say? I missed. Ed Krasnick had this memorial for not Norman Greenbaum, the Norman who used to be on the show I wrote. I can't think of. He wrote Steinberg. He wrote Blazing Saddles, and so I wanted to go to this thing, and it's like at 11 in the morning. Ed sends. He goes, "I'm just sending an email now just to make sure of who's coming tonight." I go, "I'll be there." Right to my email, "I'll be there." Cut to it's 8 o'clock. I have no memory that it ever happened that I said I would be.
Yeah. No, sometimes the brain takes you on an off ramp and you just never get back on the freeway.
The nice thing about it
But I like that you were worried. It was like Hitler wasn't showing up for his assassination for the third day.
It must be something wrong. I hope nothing's happened to him. Well, first of all, I realized I don't have Allison's number. But then I guess, is Allison really going to jump? Is Allison going to be, if I don't hear from you, is Allison going to know anything more than I do? I mean, is she going to be either with you if it's an emergency?
Hopefully she's engaged in the emergency.
Yeah, she's not just sitting around the house.
Not answering weird 818 numbers or 310 numbers.
I called 2 of them.
I thought it was on my landline that I realized.
That's pretty exciting, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good thinking for me. Because part of me is like, he's dead. He's dead. Well, he just had a great test. Doesn't matter. Got hit by an anvil, cartoon anvil. He's dead. He's dead. It's not, and don't take it personally, Josh.
I didn't.
Anybody could be dead in your situation. Because here's what I think. There's no way he doesn't remember, because this is where I overvalue you to denigrate me. I think of you of having a brain like a steel trap. I think of you as being like 20 years younger than me.
Yeah. The second part's right.
Hold it. Here's the problem, though, Josh. My problem is, have I taken my Adderall? Yes. Did someone knock on the door to require me to take my pot? It's my still favorite idea of how horrible, of how sad the human being is to get freaked out, but wants to be high. Can't answer the door unless he's high, but doesn't want it to be smelled on his breath.
All right.
Hold on a second. Quick onset. So here's the thing. I didn't. I normally eat something. I'm healthy, Josh.
Yeah,
I'm healthy.
That's good.
I don't say normally anymore.
That's better.
Right. So I get up, and I didn't eat anything.
Oh no!
I didn't eat anything. I figured, look, it's not going to be. I'm right at an hour. Right when it's been an hour since I've been up. Right when 10 o'clock would have happened.
Okay.
And no problem. Now you're really pushing. Now you're really wanting to hear cellophane later on. No, I'm going to be fine. I'm fine. Well, I can do this. I got this.
If you need to take a little break, just let me know.
I got this, America. So last night I had to consult you over the. First of all, I get a direct message from Ben Lee. It's very exciting to me. Yeah. Nobody, I'm not one of these people. I don't say don't DM me, right. But I figured he does. He's busy.
Sure.
Right? He's got people going, hi, Ben, can I come over to play music? Ben, you want to record my song? Ben. So when I see Ben Lee in my DM.
Can I come to the sunroom?
At least I remembered the reference. So, is it Warpshire Reynolds? Who is that? Warpshire Head?
Wampus Reynolds.
Oh, that's not Warpshire Head.
No, it's not.
Oh, Wampus Reynolds. Okay. Yeah. Wampus Reynolds, I guess there's some kind of suggestion box over at the Ben Lee podcast. And said, can you convince Andy to like GBV? Well, now I'm in a tizzy. First of all, I hadn't answered his DM in 2 days. So it's like, who am I fucking with? Why am I not answering his DM? So then I start going, GBV. I look it up, and it does seem to be Guided by Voices. And I had no memory of not liking Guided by Voices. I quickly jammed and listened to 5 songs. And it's not a good test when you do it that way.
No, you don't. If you have to cram for a DM, maybe you just go, I'm not a fan. Maybe you just go, I you know.
I don't want to
because it's you, Ben. Maybe I'll start listening.
I said I'm going to listen right now. Is what I said. Okay. So then I listen, and I happen to like one song. And I could say this song I enjoy. Teenage FBI. It's a very nice song.
Andrew Kindler is guided by celebrity.
It's very true. It's very true. If he wanted me to fly to Australia and get him a cup of coffee, I would have done it. But he's here now.
I think they live here in town.
What do you say? Whenever I say they're here, you say they're there. I say they're there. You say they're here.
I've just seen stuff. I've seen them reference living here.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm
not that tuned in. Things flash in front of me on Instagram occasionally when I post our things, but I'm just not that tuned in.
No, so this is not an Instagram thing. This is a Twitter direct message. I would never know if Instagram. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa. This, I'm telling you, I'm back, folks.
I am
back.
So did you ever write back and go, I'm on board?
Yeah. No. I'll tell you, I have a record of it. It's in my Twitter account. Okay, you ready? Go. Do you really just? Okay, this is what. First of all, had me almost.
How did this? The best I could determine is that this was there a Guided by Voices song in that Amazon commercial that you hated?
Well, that's
so much?
What you think. I think it must have been. I'm 100% convinced that's what it is. Okay. But I don't even remember in that rant hating the song so much. I think
you went after the song. There was at least one commercial where you went after the song.
Yeah, it was like, the song was like, Amazon. So he writes, mentioned in a comment, Wampus Reynolds mentioned you in a comment. A good miniseries podcast would be you convincing Andy Kindler to like GBV. And then he writes, do you really dislike them? So now I fucking almost had a heart attack.
Sure.
I cannot be seen. I respect Ben Lee's music. If he likes something, I was like, how could I have messed up? What have I done? And how do I rectify it? So, first I go, who's GBV?
All right.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up now.
That I at least got. I got what GBV was, but.
Guided by Voices. I don't know that group. This is to him. I don't know that group. Not sure why he said that. Now I'm putting Wampus Reynolds under the bus.
Sure.
I've heard of them. I'm sure if you love them, I will. I'll listen now.
Oh, God.
And then I add...
Sickening.
So then I add, I'm crazy about war. Not the event, but the group. Now, so what does that mean? I have to prove to him at the end that I have good taste? I don't understand what I'm saying. Or he's never heard of the band War, right? I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we talked about it last week. So, did you ever determine though? Is Why Can't We Be Friends War? It's not the same as the Eric Burden War, right?
No,
okay.
That's different.
Right.
Eric Burden goes to war, as it's called. When you have the one where
well, it's Eric Burden. It's War with Eric Burden or Eric Burden and War.
Something like that. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that now I have all of my knowledge about war together because there's Edwin Starr.
Sure.
I know Edwin Starr was a fantastic. The lyrics are so great on White. I know I tweeted them, but the lyrics are, I know you're working for the CIA. They wouldn't have you in the mafia. And there's a line in there where he's talking about, he's like, first you think it's about sex. Like, I know you're drinking my wine. So it's like, oh, a girl came over and he was. But then it's other people start to bother him. Other things like, why can't we be friends? I think it's people who are like, not paying attention to you when you're out, but they know you. Yeah. So he goes, I was standing in the welfare line. I see you standing there every time. Like it's like those kind of people. They won't admit that they're poor, or they won't admit they're not in the in group. But you're probably thinking the in group probably would be war. I don't know what that means. That was bad.
Just wow.
I don't feel good. I feel dizzy after that.
You made me long for the welfare line.
Okay, so then he goes, ha, ha, ha. He goes, I was actually thinking that would be an amazing, this is Ben. I was thinking that would be an amazing 6 mini episode podcast series when me and a different guest each week pitch you a Guided by Voices song and try to convince you to like them. So, and then it just goes on with other pleasantries.
You went with, I'm in.
I can't even look at it now because of how you schooled me.
No, you
schooled
stopped
me.
reading because you started cutting a side deal with Ben Lee, and you don't want to read it to me.
I'm doing a podcast with him, and the podcast is, it's an in-depth, non-funny review show with me, like getting very earnest.
It's called "You're Right, Ben."
First of all, that's not the way he comes across.
Andy, I really think you'll like it. I will like it. I will like it.
Ben doesn't come across like that. That would be you. If you were in that position, you would be, excuse me. Oh, you're not familiar with Guided by Voices? You know how when I first met you, you wore an ascot all the time and you would be so, what's it called when you're that way? You're bright and you're putting it over, you're pretentious. That's right, you're pretentious.
Thank you.
Hello, Andy.
I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad you noticed.
You know that, look, you can't say that pretension. No, you're not pretentious. No, you're not annoying. You're not generally rude. That's not it. Now I'm like in a Woody Allen movie. What was that movie where he was walking around the pool? I'm horrible. Yes, you are, but that's not why I don't like you. I'm not doing the Woody Allen there. But, it's like, take it again. It could be take it again, Sam. Take it again, Sam.
The handheld mic really does give you more leaning.
I think it's great.
There's a lot
and
more
if you notice
in.
it, and there's no movement, there's no sound. There's only the sound of people laughing. That's what I fooled you that time. You thought I was going to do it. And I don't think do you know what happens to me when you see me sometimes? I'm literally hyperventilating from laughing. I mean, I'm not planning on doing it.
No, when you do the full recline, it's an actual.
And sometimes I feel like
but
I
now
could
you
die.
can do the recline with the mic, which is good.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I hate mic stands. I hate them. Fuck that. And you were going to give me a desk one. Remember that plan?
I was, yeah. But then Hanukkah ended.
This one to me is like, this is loosey-goosey.
It was a ninth-day gift.
This is like me doing a Sirius XM show. You know what I'm saying? I'm being interviewed on a show.
Yeah. They don't want you to touch the mic on the Sirius
They
XM
do.
Show.
Okay, well, live. When they're doing a live thing. And everybody's, I'm not going to Montreal this year, and they're not doing a speech. I wanted to let you know.
Is that official?
Well, I don't want to go to Montreal.
Okay.
Is A.
Sure.
And they're not interested in the hologram.
That was a one-timer.
Right. But no, say, they're very passive-aggressive, so we don't want the hologram. Okay, then what do you want? But like if I said, what if I just record one from my house? Okay, well, no, they're not going to go for that. They want to force me to fly me up. And remember,
well, it's a live comedy festival in their defense.
Yeah, but in their non-defense, if you fly someone up who's been a part of your festival since 1993, and you fly him and his wife up coach every single year, when I see other people who aren't going coach, but they can get away with flying me coach, then I say that's where the pandemic bites you in the ass. You're not cramming me on the back of a fucking Montreal flight in the middle of summer with all these other younger people who do have a future, right?
Uh-huh.
They're climbing into the area. Those days are over, Josh. Uh-huh. Those days are over playing around with the peanuts and climbing on other comics on planes.
Sure.
And what's going to happen?
But first class, you might.
First class, Daddy's got a little, now I've got a little taste for Daddy. Uh-huh. Daddy's got a taste. Ooh. I don't want a taste for Daddy.
No, Daddy's not that tasteful.
I want to ask you a question, and be honest with me. I'm very thankful to Montreal for all the things they've done. But it took me 20 years to get 93, 103, 30 years I've been going there. Right? And it took me 10 years to get her ticket free, maybe. Her ticket free. But it's never been a look. At some point, you're the guy. You're the goose. You're one of our gooses. You've been around forever. It's never been anything. We're going to step it up for you now.
Right.
This year, we're going to step it up. And that, I think, is wrong at some point. It's nickel and diming. But I'm only one of a million comics in that same boat.
Right.
Right. So I guess this is a long way of saying that I don't even know if there's going to be COVID then. But I think that I would catch something. And I would be resentful of being a coach. too.
Yeah.
Even though COVID might be over, I'd still be resentful about it.
Right. Well, good. Then I think, it was a pretty goddamn good run.
You're right, but why should we surrender? Why can't we do it our way? Why don't we?
Well,
What's not great about me doing it from here? Like I'm not a hologram, but hey, I just don't want to go up there. And I do jokes about that. It's not worth it to me. They've been flying me coach up for the last 30 years. At some point, it's shame on me. Watch out. I have to admit to you, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of the speech.
Yeah. Well, I am too. And it's kind of been, I've had a lot of burden the last several years with this speech myself. So.
Wait, don't even start with this.
My big problem is that neither of us know anything that's going on in comedy now.
I think that's true. That is absolutely true.
That's really the big problem with
that is the absolute problem. It's not a summer camp. When I did first that speech, it was absolutely like a summer camp thing.
Yeah, you were in it, baby. You were in it. That's right.
I'm making fun of different agent. It was funny to make fun of an agent from William Morris.
Right.
It was funny for me to say Dave Rath can't be here this year because he's having hip pocket surgery. Now, that still might work.
Sure, maybe.
But people don't know Dave Rath.
Right, you'd have to put a new name, and you don't know who that is.
That's absolutely true. I wouldn't know. But you see, here's the thing. It's changed. There isn't a thing like in the 90s when I missed the boat. I didn't miss the boat, but I figured, and I wasn't even thinking about this, but I go, everybody loves Raymond. Next year, they're going to be Kindler. Well, how do we get Kindler? What do we do about getting Kindler a show?
Right.
I missed that boat. I missed that Tim Allen. I'm not say Tim Allen, but when a lot of comics were getting Roseanne.
Got the big development deal thing.
Right.
Right.
The best, the one deal I got from a guy named Michael Davies who worked at Disney, and he's not, what is it called when you don't want to give out money? It's like you're
cheap.
He offered me a 1 year deal in first position or some crazy thing, but we figured it out. If we worked it to an 80-hour week, I would be making minimum wage. You'd be like, he's holding me for $5,000 for the whole year.
Yeah. That's a disingenuous holding deal is what that is.
That's almost like a prank.
I had a deal with him that came and went once too.
Michael, I didn't even know you knew Michael Davies.
Yeah. He was at a different network, but
he's famous for I get along with him fine. Well, who cares? He's not listening to the show. Everybody seems to be cheap in this fucking business, except me and you. We're not cheap. I don't think I could sleep well. I don't think my butler could sleep well if I was underpaying people. I don't think my chauffeur would like it if he found out. One more example.
I was waiting to see if there was.
I don't know if my Pilates.
Your cook.
I have another walking story.
Yeah. Yes, okay. Indeed. You're walking?
Short. Very short.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you call it? Do you have any music for it?
I've been trying to conceive good walking music.
Yes, okay. So I'm walking south on Fulton, and I'm on the side where the LA River comes into Fulton. I don't know. Anyway, and it goes under the underpass. There's a very high curb. It's a very high curb. I can't even explain it to you. There's like a section where you can walk over the river, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's got a high curb.
Uh-huh.
Right?
That goes through the woods.
Why are you playing with me? There's no reason. I can barely tell a story, and you're trying to confuse it?
Sorry.
Okay, so to me, this guy's coming across on that little narrow strip, and he's listening to his music, whatever.
Just like
and he's
you.
a white guy. It's a white guy. That's right. He's a white guy.
Right. So two white guys in headphones cross on a bridge.
But I don't cross on the bridge.
It's like a prisoner exchange during the Cold War.
I don't. For some reason, I find it that he's bopping towards me. I don't want to be near him bopping towards me. It just, I want to give him room, not out of fear. So I hop down off of this, it's like a 4-foot ledge, it seems like.
Yeah.
I hop down into the area that has markings on it, which is really not the greatest area to be walking, but I'm I'm confident the cars are not going to swerve to hit me.
All right.
All right. He sees me, and he goes like
Laughs at you, is what you're saying.
right. He's like, and it was one of these things like, and I couldn't figure out if it was this guy, or just regular, like that. But I thought it might have had something to do with him seeing me scurry down.
Yeah.
Then look up.
Probably. It was probably funny.
This guy. And I love that when they give you a thing like, they know they don't know you. It's not like you know each other, but it's just one of those things like, right? You know, you pass somebody. It's all happening.
And you went, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
I did it again, Josh.
No, that was different. That's different.
It was different. Okay,
that was where you could have sang along because people knew it was coming.
Now I know the difference. Now I know when it's too much. It's hard to know when you're such a shy person like me.
Sure.
And an unassuming person like me. I don't tend to dominate conversations or Josh, where are you? That was a bit. How good was it?
It was good. It was like you were walking around me on the street.
So that's my third anecdote or fourth anecdote, and it's a series. And if you're a Patreon member, you can get the whole thing. Right?
Right.
I watched the Lakers Friday.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
First of all, two things happened Friday.
Yeah.
The way I am is I can't watch the Knicks. I can't watch them if they're down.
Because they're done.
I understand that. You make your jokes. So I keep going, I'll watch them. I know they were down 2-3. I knew John Starks was there. I knew there was an excitement. But then I just can't watch them when they're down. And I forgot to watch. But I think it's psychological. I'm not watching if they're down. And so they lost.
So you thought you'd fucking poison the Lakers? Is that what you thought?
No, I found out because now it's too late at night for me to have seen the Knicks game. I turn on, all of a sudden, it's like Golden State, and there's my team. There's my team. There's Anthony D. The D-man's down there, low. Reeves. Fucking Reeves is a 4-foot tall white man. He's fucking. I feel like I'm like a racist commentator. Who is this guy Reeves? Is he as good as he looks, or is that the wrong team?
No, that's Austin Reeves. He was a undrafted.
He was a walk-on?
Signed as a two-way player. Then
what does that mean? Two-way.
Two-way player means that
a little defense, a little offense?
No, a two-way player, a two-way contract means that you have a player that plays in both your minor league team and your main team. They can play up to X amount of games with the main team during the year. But then his contract got converted last year. As a rookie, he played a lot. And then this year he became a staple player on the thing. And he's a second-year undrafted player.
Is that like a Staples Center joke?
But people love him.
You know, what happened?
And it's not the Staples Center, by the way.
Where are they now?
It's Crypto.
The Fabulous Forum?
Crypto.com Arena. Same place.
Get the fuck out
Different
of here.
Name.
Crypto, it's not crypto.
It is.
Crypto is a ripoff. We don't want the Lakers to be a ripoff. NFT Forum, NFT Stadium, and NFT.
Yeah, but you're like you're a year and a half late with any of these jokes. So also the Beatles misspelled their name.
So you have to admit that the joke I had on my album is still as current as this, where I went, "Where'd you get that shirt with Bitcoin?" Because I did it years before just to see if it would be still current.
Right.
That's just about as current as anything else.
Speaking of currency,
only you would know the wordplay there. I'm so focused on doing the joke. So I am pumped about the Lakers. And who else besides now Anthony Davis? Did he come from somewhere else? That's my feeling. He was a star somewhere else with the Memphis Grizzlies.
No.
Was he somewhere else?
He was on the New Orleans Pelicans 5 years ago.
Get out of here with the Pelicans.
He's been a Laker since 4 years ago when they won the championship in 2020.
Oh, I remember that because I remember rooting for them, maybe. So here's the thing. I'm finding out from you that there's a minor leagues. I have no knowledge.
The G League. The G League, they call it.
See, I knew you liked basketball more than me, but you sound like an actual fan of a sport.
I'm an actual fan of the sport. Also, and yes, I have followed the team since before the Western Conference Finals.
Well, look, you fuck. I didn't mean to call you fuck. Look, fuck face. When I was rooting for them, you weren't even born when I was rooting for them. When Magic came up, I was a diehard Magic fan.
Yeah,
and in fact, so much so
for
that
the finals every year.
I couldn't wait to see. No, first we lost against Boston. It was terrible. I couldn't wait to see the remake. You know what I've always wanted? I go, that was fun. But can Adam McKay get involved in some kind of fucking remake of them? And we can, don't they just make up stuff? Jerry West is a murderer. All of a sudden,
yeah.
Pat Riley sells 4 Pete posters. I mean, didn't they exaggerate it, create personalities that were not even real?
They certainly exaggerated them, if not created
What's the point of it? What's the point of watching
entertainment?
Okay, you watched it, right?
I did.
Why would you watch that?
Because it was on, and it's about the Lakers, and I was curious if they could do a decent show. It's a decent show. It's not a great show.
You watched it all the way through, but you wouldn't watch Succession all the way through?
No, but I've watched more of Succession than I watched of the Lakers thing.
Have you watched Barry? Should we watch Barry? I haven't watched Barry.
I like Barry very much, yes.
Oh, all right. That's a new show. And it's over now, right?
It's approaching the over.
Okay. But you had watched it from the first year?
I've been watching it all along. It's a lot easier to get me with a once-a-week show.
Than a what? What's not a once-a-week show?
Than a binge.
Oh, I see. You're right. You're binging. Right. You're not binging. You're inhaling it. You're seeing it in real time.
I was watching some of the 2010s on CNN last night. It's the new thing. Their new,
that made me
classic
sick.
Documentary series.
Is Gary Getzman involved?
Yes, it's the same exact format.
I know. I just happened to see his name. Sounds.
But it was all about TV in the 2010s and peak TV, and it was just like this parade of shit that I went. I didn't watch it. I remember. Didn't watch it.
Can you name some for me?
Everything. Just like every.
Two Men in the Pizza Place.
Sure. Didn't watch it.
Caroline in the City. That's 2005.
Never got a dinner.
Why is he doing this?
But I don't know why.
Hanks?
I just as soon as I stopped working in TV, I just really have tuned out from it.
Well, I think that CNN is going down, baby. I'm serious. It's going down because you can fool the people this way, you can fool them that way, you can do the other thing. They have been so transparently evil for so long now. And they're defending their town hall last week. So all my predictions have been wrong. So forget that. But I think, though, they could actually hurt themselves even more than they've hurt themselves so far by just trying to copy Fox.
Yeah, they're at sea. I don't know. But, it's like one of two places to have news streaming occasionally. So
I never watch them anymore. I probably will, but I can't stand them because they have Republicans on the panel there. Yeah. Every show has Republicans on. Like the people you hate, they're on the panel as well.
Sure.
I've been pretty good at just, what's that laugh? I also have here's the thing. So much of what I predicted, I'm prescient. Why didn't people give me credit? I couldn't stand fucking Anderson Cooper when he was ginning up Benghazi, when he was rifling through the ambassador's diary. They ginned up Benghazi. They ginned up 2016. They're trying to do it again in 2024. 2, 3. It's pretty. I know I'm preaching to the converted, but it is like really, it's like, first of all, it's low down, dirty kind of, we don't even care about the news. And also I think it is misguided. That's what I'm hoping. It's also misguided.
You know what it is, Andy?
What's that? Wait. It's just, it's intellectually dishonest.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yes.
I almost texted you that a couple of times over the weekend. It's intellectually dishonest.
I'm so glad that it amuses more than just me. I'm so happy about that.
Did it get a good laugh in the time? When you delivered it?
Yes, it did. At lunch.
It really is, because the reason why that's hilarious is that there just is no. It's one of probably part of their plans. In the old days, the Republicans say, "Look, don't pretend to be racist. Make it like you're not racist." Now they've gone the other way. They know the cat's out of the bag, and they just try to do as much damage as they can.
It's back up the awful truck at all times.
It's like every single issue. You're not going to pay your bills for last year? No, we're going to do it gentlemen. There's no reason in the world for it. No reason in the world.
Who knew that asshole was so aspirational for so many people? It's just that's what they want to be.
I've never seen people like these Jim Jordans and who's the guy who was a horrible guy who went to run Trump's network afterwards. He was a congressman. Fresno.
Devin Nunes.
Yeah. And Devin Nunes, he looks like a TV version of an evil person. He's just he has that look. And who's up there by Fresno or Modesto who's going, yeah, that's what I want? Or do they just go, well, he's racist? I don't understand how these guys get. I guess they just don't care. I guess there's some areas that are going to be very, very hard. Every 2 years, someone runs against Jim Jordan. So far, no go.
Right.
So I do think he's from a part of Ohio that's awful, that has awful people. I really do.
Well, and it's awful mandered.
Awful mandered. That's right. Yes. All this week they were talking about, this Chris Licht guy used to be the EP of Morning Joe. And it's like you're watching people on MSNBC talking, didn't you hear me screaming for years about how horrible Morning Joe was? Is it a surprise to you this Chris Licht guy is a right-wing asshole? I remember when Joe...
Yeah, but Andy, you're the boy who cried awful. Come on.
That's true. I have no defense for my own whininess. But Joe Scarborough, he used to say things like, I believe that there should be voter ID. He was... First of all, he was a backbenching Republican. He was just like Newt Gingrich. He was like a backbencher, thug who would come in. And I'm saying thug to a white person. I'm not doing it like Trump does.
I understand.
And so what was the surprise? I never could understand, why are you, it's they're preserving the IMIS slot or something. That network was unwatchable, MSNBC, when it first came on for about 10 years. When they were stocking with Howard Feynman or longer and Chris Matthews. And, it was all like that.
Yes.
And, Aaron, to me, people everybody hates Andrea Mitchell. I can't stand her. She's fine as a person. I'm sure she's married to Greenbaum, but she literally asks questions just like she's trying to nail Hillary Clinton, or she's trying to, what's happening at the border? It looks bad at the border. That kind of thing. Yeah. And she's a mainstream. She's like the mainstream person. She helped defeat Hillary Clinton in 2016 as well. Yeah. And they used to go on Morning Joe all the time. Now, thank God MSNBC won't be doing that this time around, I hope.
Who?
He used to go on all the time.
Trump,
he would go.
Yeah,
Trump went on Morning Joe every single morning. They literally... not single-handedly, they contributed to him winning the nomination.
Yes.
Just like CNN, what if we rigged the town hall where everybody, did you hear that they were told not to boo?
No.
They were instructed not to boo, which is fine if it was going to be
if you're instructed not to cheer as well.
Right. So it was a horrifying situation where on every level, every single level. And then Anderson Cooper comes on with the most obnoxious Friday night thing where he goes, hey, look, I understand it. You're upset. You didn't like it. I don't like him either. But are you going to live in your own silo? There's two choices. Either we watch a rigged town hall with a cheering thing, or we don't, or we have no other way of finding out about Trump. Right, unless I watch the CNN town hall.
Right, unless we give him a primetime platform in the most friendly and welcoming environment he could be in.
just for ratings. You can't tell me they're going to go, were the ratings good? Oh, we didn't know. We just thought we wanted to bring him we weren't sure people were still familiar with him.
Right.
And Caitlin Collins, it turns out, used to be on the Daily Caller, which was Tucker Carlson's Caitlin Collins.
No, she was a Soros pusher and all sorts of shit.
And she looks just like George Soros is, she doesn't say this, but George Soros is a Jew. That's what she's reinforcing.
Yeah.
He's a left-wing Jew. All right, I'm done with this. You know why? Because I'm not done with the whole day. Because, first of all, thank you for doing Sunday for me.
No problem. I'm all for mold remediation.
Exactly.
So your building took on some water.
Yeah, it's been taking on water for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So, but we're just addressing this one finally.
That's good.
And we're getting a brand new window in that office. We're going to have a regular 2-bedroom apartment.
Nice.
It's only been since 2014, so that's not too bad.
I'm still waiting for probably another 3 months for my windows and doors to come in. So.
But you did I see. So they're not cheap, I found out.
They're not.
Well, we have one window in the office. It's almost the whole wall.
Yeah.
So I don't see, the thing is, when I first moved in here, I was like, I don't remember a window ever in California closing properly. I mean, my opinion when I first moved out here was like, it's pretty shoddy construction on the entire West Coast.
Yes.
So
you were correct.
So I never really thought, because that song "Flakes" by Frank Zappa was always my favorite. About the plumber, the toilet exploded. The plumber said, "Don't put a tampon in there," and then it exploded the next day. And he was just like, California's got the most of them, flakes. But then when I went back east after a while, I was like, I'd rather have new and shoddy than LaGuardia Airport.
Right.
Which you probably haven't been to much.
I've been there probably a half dozen times in my life.
Not memorable.
No.
And then you learn afterwards. Also, the pilots don't like it because it's a short runway.
Right.
Or short landing.
No, it's kind of a scary flying over the water.
You're flying over my birthplace, Flushing, which is built on landfill.
Yeah.
So whenever I fly in, which has been years, it just reminds me of everything. It just reminds me of staying at the Copper Penny Hotel, the Lincoln Hotel. No, I never stayed there, but just how, what would you describe that part of Queens? Boring, smelly.
Run down,
yeah. Run down.
Dilapidated.
Like you don't know this. Oh, so what does this something keeps going on here. Okay. But, you didn't have this in your life. You didn't have that screeching. That's like part in my brain is the screeching of subway cars and that sound.
No, I didn't have the din of the city in my life at all.
Yeah. And it can be depressing after a while because it's just like a lot of things like screech. And then you go on the subway, not as clean as you would expect the subway to be.
No, I was kind of the first time I went to New York, it was pretty overwhelming how just the expanse of dinginess. Yeah. It was just like so, just like it was all just this big, huge brown thing when I first went there.
And then if you get outside of the city, it's almost like you're in Hickville.
Yeah.
If you go 5 minutes outside of the city anyway. Where did you used to come and do a lot when you'd come?
The first time was like I went to camp at the Poconos. So we flew
Oh my God. How old were you then?
15, 14.
How'd that happen even?
It was a B'nai B'rith youth organization.
Oh. Was that scary or was it fun?
It was fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not Lou Reed and I'm not Patti Smith. And I'm not many people who, when they get into Manhattan, well, I think, first of all, not that Lou Reed was rich. I think if you have money, Manhattan can be the greatest if you're rich.
Yeah,
So
no, I think.
restaurant.
Oh God, yeah. No, I think it's like if you're really rich or really poor, you can have fun. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
But if you're just trying to make a living,
it's so weird because I'm finding out like, this Ricky Lee Jones memoir was such a great, I recommend it to anybody, and she reads it in such an amazing way. But she's just talking about how when she came out here, she's just talking about how by 78, the troubadour was dead. And she's just talking about how I moved out here in 78.
Yeah.
So not only was it like there were already 50, 60 million singer, songwriter, guitarists, she was experiencing that in the mid 70s. Because she tells this great story about how, she worked in a cover band, but she hated it. And then and everybody was like sending their 8x10s to agents and stuff. And she just tells this amazing story about, she just figured that's not the way to do it, and she figured I should find someone. She listened to the album Good Old Boys.
Yeah.
And which is an amazing album. And she said, I have to find this Lenny Waronker.
Yeah.
And she actually she's very spiritual. Like she's got things going on, but she said she had actual precognition that she would be in his office. So it was really weird. And that's what happened. She basically goes, oh, I want to do, this album is unbelievable. I wanted the people who do this album to produce me or something. This is before anything's happening.
Yeah.
This is like when but it was like, it made me feel better about, even if I had been an enthusiastic musician and overconfident,
right.
It still was a horrible time period to be a musician. If I really was moving to LA to make it as a musician, it would have been a terrible idea.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it wasn't, you also want to get away from your family, you want to go meet your teacher friend's going to be there, you can maybe do a couple acting things, but it was in my idea, the idea of being one of 80 million singer-songwriter guitarists was very depressing to me.
Yes.
And then on top of that, thinking I had no talent or I couldn't sing, and that only made it worse. But it wasn't a friendly thing.
Well, that's the thing that makes it ridiculous. You know what I mean? Is that without, the one thing that every one of the other ones had was self-belief, whether it was delusional or otherwise.
Right.
But if if you came out without that, you're sunk here. You're fucking sunk in LA. If you can't represent believing in yourself.
Well, that was the thing that was deceptive about it. I was doing things in college. I really felt I could write songs well. I think I had confidence about that.
Right.
And I had been involved in college productions and all this kind of thing. I was a big man on campus.
Right.
At college.
Sure.
And so it was literally 4 months later going, hey, where the list is on the wall. I got the show. I'm in the show.
Right. Sure.
Like to, this is the real world,
Yeah.
So, what were you saying?
I was saying that coming without self-belief is.
Right, without self-belief. But yes, the not believing in my voice really was a terrible thing. That had I had the same attitude towards comedy, I don't think I would have gotten this. Maybe this is hard to say, but comedy I had more self-confidence about, even though I was scared about it.
Well, because the nice thing about comedy is that there's feedback. There's concrete, obvious feedback happening always.
Right. And when I came out, even though the Comedy Store and they also had been peaked by that point in terms of the Letterman stuff. And, right. I still felt when I got into comedy, I felt like in 84, 85, I didn't feel like there were 50 million. It wasn't the same thing as music.
No.
No, it was not like that at all. So it's unbelievable to think like that so long I wanted to be the Beatles, but spelled BEET.
Uh-huh.
And that all I could think of as growing up was being a musician, because that was the time period where I was influenced by it.
Right.
And then to realize that, to not even think, to be so influenced by that I think I would have maybe even gotten into comedy, tried comedy sooner if I wasn't so influenced by rock and roll. I was so influenced by rock and roll, but it's almost like not that I was born too late in the sense that when I came out in 78, I wasn't in any position to be Talking Heads or any of those things.
Well, it doesn't sound like you had a vision of any kind, really. And I don't mean that I don't mean to slam you. You just, like you said, you wanted to get the fuck away from your family.
Oh,
and the only dream you had was rock and roll shaped, but it doesn't sound like you like had a musical vision or, had a mission. Except for to go be a musician in LA.
Well, I think the only difference is that I was very influenced by Dylan had changed my life and the music had changed my life. So I was thinking I was going to go out and become a singer, a songwriter, and put myself into the position but when I listen to the music, I think it's actually good music that I was doing. So I actually think I was making good music that wasn't that bad. I mean, I can look back and go, I'm horrible. I'm dealing with that in therapy right now, where it's not always good that your image of yourself, like it was great to get it out last week. I love when I get out embarrassing things from the past.
Right.
But I still have a tendency to I still have a lot of embarrassment or humiliation. That's not the stuff I'm telling you about on a podcast.
Right.
It just feels, when I think about parts of my life, I don't feel good, and I don't think that's ultimately healthy.
No, I mean, you have to lose the cringe at some point,
Yes, that's all I'm saying. Lose the cringe. But what I'm saying is, I think you're right in the sense that if I wanted to be I wanted to have original music, I was incredibly influenced by Talking Heads. So I was playing music like Talking Heads or the other groups that were coming out at that time, Ricky Lee Jones, whatever. But I wasn't at that point in my life to produce the kind of music. And absolutely I wasn't, but I had a lot of, it was almost like I had early success that may have been not bad for me, but remember I told you I did that declamation contest. There's 5,000 people seeing me. I didn't take any of that self-confidence with me to LA.
Right.
I just went.
Well, because it's kind of irrelevant in a way, because LA confidence is a whole different thing than school confidence,
Yeah. Well, but one thing though, that actually, I think we've talked about this before, me starting comedy in LA was not was not foreboding, because I was already here.
Yeah, and there was no build-up. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, so I'm here 6 months. That I went through that when I moved out in 78. I was absolutely depressed, almost clinically depressed by LA.
Oh, me
I didn't
too.
like anything about it.
No, me too, for the first year or two.
Yeah, because you came from a place, too, that was more rich in terms of your life there had been.
Yeah, no, I was a big fish in the small pond too, but I also saw, part of the reason that, having left Mystery Science Theater, where it was like, okay, that's the one national show, that was going to happen in Minneapolis. It's like, well, I got to go elsewhere now if I'm going to keep doing that. But, even though I did do that Ha show with Fred Willard, but
what was the Ha show?
It was called Access America.
Have we talked about this before?
Yeah, we have, but it wasn't a good experience, and it was
was it a good experience with Fred?
Oh, Fred was awesome. Yeah,
I love Fred so much. I miss him.
And Fred, like a couple of years later, or a year later, when I saw him or 2 years later, maybe I saw him in L.A. on the set of the Jackie Thomas show, and because he recognized me in front of Tom Arnold, Tom called me later that day to write for Roseanne's stand-up. So it was like,
wow.
Fred kind of helped me by even remembering me. So.
What a time period that was. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm out. No, I'm not out. Don't hang up on me. I don't like when you hang up on me. It just bothers me. It's like something like it's like, I'm nervous about it. It's like twice a week. I know that I'm going to be when I'm not very creative sounding, that I know the hammer's going to come down.
Right. Well, I like to think of it as the same reason your therapist ends it, because she's bored.
Well, now it's time
to take a break from two old talking Jews. But we will be back to try to make you laugh in hour number 2.
Okay, I have some updates for you.
Oh, good.
It's so funny to me. They go, look, we're not going to do the hologram. They think, I don't know why Bruce got in his mind that we were going to do the hologram again.
Yeah.
But they said, look, we can't do the hologram again.
Right.
As if that's going to be my pitch every year.
Right.
So then I told Bruce, I say, it's over. It's over. And then he says, well, then he comes up with this idea that, first of all, Bruce can be funny. So I definitely want to hear ideas from him. So 'cause he's funny. So he said to me, he goes, now, this is a crazy idea. I'm sure you guys, I don't know if you like it, but what if you wrote the speech and had some young comedians perform it? I said, we hate the speech. We hate the speech.
What if a young comedian wrote the speech and performed it? How about that? Counter offer.
Ooh, wait a second. Do I see a possible?
I said this last year that Robin Tran should be doing this now.
Why not? What do I get from it? Oh, we'll write for him. No, we're out.
I'm out.
We're done.
Yes.
No, we're out.
I mean, you could do some
funny.
sort of elaborate torch passing ceremony, I guess.
No, the thing about it is I was trying to explain to Bruce. I mean, here's what I think. I'm old enough that it doesn't matter what I say to anybody about anything. It's not going to affect future work.
Right.
I love the people in Montreal. I mean, I personally love the people who have booked me and I've been friends with for years. They're friends of mine.
Right.
Right. But, it's like if you fly someone up coach with his wife for 20 years and half the time they go, now the way we block book it, we can't even tell you you probably will sit together when you get to the airport. So then now I said, when you factor stuff like that, it doesn't make me, when a pandemic comes around, go, how do I get the fuck up there? How do I get up there for these people? So it makes me a little nervous because I don't see myself going out to clubs either. But I'm trying to summon the courage to go back east for one time. That's to visit family.
Yeah.
It's not going to be to fly to. So, but the point is, if they say, okay, we're going to give you first class tickets, I still don't want to do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it.
Okay. That's good because it would be sad if it came down to that, really.
If it was just you?
No, if it was just about your seats on the plane.
No.
That ended this whole thing.
No, but what I'm saying is that, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I was saying they have no leverage in their gun for me. In other words, they're like, come on. Right? So.
Well, they do. They just don't want it. The leverage they could use is a lot of money. A lot of money might tip the scales a little bit.
But then it's not worth anything, right?
Well, but what if they said we'll pay you a lot of money and we can't fly Susan, but we'll fly you first class, and Susan will be home safe?
No, here's where I think the hypotheticals bite you in the ass.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because you could say, Josh, would you pay me $100,000 and fly me up first class? Yes.
Well, then you'd do it
for $100,000.
You would
first class.
You would totally do it. I don't think there's any question about it, and I would take half of that for writing it.
Right. But that's not going to happen.
And we'd both be happy. No, it's not. Because it doesn't have value. It doesn't sell tickets for them. So what? At some point, what's the point? What's the value to them? Let me just reiterate what I said the other day. Having you talk about the current state of the comedy industry, it's intellectually dishonest.
Well, that was the thing I was trying to tell Bruce was years ago when I first started the speech, 2 or 3 years in, and Rick Messina at that time wanted to represent me. He said to me, you just shouldn't come. After the 4, we had 3 years where it killed.
Yeah.
And then the 4th year where he goes, you should just not do it for a few years and not come back. So I said to Bruce, I guess Rick Messina was ultimately right. But the point is that wouldn't have been good to quit then. But this speech has had its run.
It had its life, absolutely.
And
I do think that if there was a young person, and I don't mean this as a slam, but to make it more intellectually honest, you have someone who's in the scene and who can comment from within like you used to.
Yes, but if you took someone like Robin Tran, is his last name Trans?
Her last name is Tran.
Her name's. I'm sorry, I fucked up again. I fucked up again. No, I was just wondering, did she name herself Trans?
It's a coincidence.
It is a coincidence, really?
Tran, singular, is her last name.
Well, then she had early knowledge from her own life that this could happen.
I'm sure this hasn't been examined by her at all.
You don't think she said anything about it? But here's the thing. She already has a great career. And she already is going after people in her own way. You know what I mean?
So why not give her an official platform? That was so nice for you for so long.
Oh, so you're saying, why don't I suggested that Robin would be great for doing this? If they want, what are you saying I should do?
I don't think you don't have to do anything except for
but you're saying to be nice.
No, I'm just saying that was my instinct last year, seeing what she was doing.
Right. Okay.
That felt the most like what you do to me.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with me saying that would be a good person to take it over, right?
No, if you feel that, then no, it would be a good thing to say.
I can't think of anybody more like me in terms of going after. She enjoys going after the business and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So
that's
all right. Well, that's enough for that because I don't know how much to charge her now for the first couple of years.
Torch.
No, for the first couple of you can't just take over a speech and expect to do it with the professionalism that I never showed.
You just want to wet your beak a little.
Papa needs to get some beaks. Are you going to cut out the part where I said he? I don't care. I'm not a bad person, right?
Because me correcting you makes me look really good.
All right. How are we doing with our basketball? Is it 1-1 or is it 2-0?
It's 0-2.
Okay. I didn't mean to bring up something, but why is it going so poorly?
Because
they're good. They're excellent.
Denver has won both games.
Are they the Rockets?
They are not.
Are they the Denver Bulls? Give me a Denver Nuggets.
Yes.
That's a terrible name. It's a terrible name.
It's not a good name, but it's working for them.
This year, they've never won a World Series, have they?
They have not. No.
They've never won a national championship. They never won the NBA.
They have not.
So what is as someone who is not going to get into it any further than this, because you don't care enough to tell me about it. It's not interesting enough to tell me who doesn't care that much about it.
That's the
and
rub.
My interest will wane.
Yes.
What seems to be the big problem?
I think it's just that the Lakers are tired. They've been playing must-win basketball for a couple of months now just to get into the playoffs, and even though they're a really good team, I think they're kind of ground down now.
Well,
but they get back to sea level, and it might help them out.
You know what you have to say with LeBron James? What might have been had things
worked out,
turned around. For example, if he had never left, the asshole leaves Cleveland. Big mistake. He should have stayed there with the team unworked upon, with that horrible owner way after his contract was over. And who doesn't want to put up stakes in that area? What a terrible state. What a horrible, horrible state that is.
The thing is that if you think you're defending LeBron by putting Ohio down, he's like the most boy from Akron.
Let me finish.
He's the most boy from Akron guy there.
No.
Then he went back to Cleveland, won a championship.
No, but he hated the owner. He did hate the whole time, and the owner was an asshole. I don't think the owner was the same owner when he came back.
No, same owner.
Okay, fuck me. Look, here's what I'm saying. I was trying to make a joke that he is the greatest, but
and that owner's kid just died this past week, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why you should tell me what I shouldn't be joking about? Whose kid died?
Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland.
Is he? Okay. You know what? I just want to say, I don't know anything about Dan Gilbert, what's happening with him, but we need people like him who care. Has he changed as a person, though? I mean, forget about I didn't mean to say forget about his son. I'm saying, why do you know these things about everybody?
Because you're a basketball fan?
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay, so all I'm saying is I used to root against LeBron James. I used to not like him because I used to think he was complaining and he was so good. And now I love him.
Because you're a homer of all time.
No. I really loved him when he won for Cleveland. I wanted Cleveland to win one once. Yeah. So I was rooting for them.
That's good.
Because I like the show, Drew Carey Show, and I like that song. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. Is that the worst song in the world? Is that sitcom not a terrible sitcom? Be honest with me. That sitcom's awful.
Never liked it.
Was Drew Carey somewhat, maybe a little bit funny as a stand-up?
Yes.
But then,
he was.
Yes, and then that's it. That's all she wrote. Very cruel. Very cruel today. Who else is going down today? Robin Williams. Who else can I take down? All right. We're back. Let me tell you something.
I had breakfast with Blaine Capatch yesterday.
I love Blaine Capatch. It's been so long since I've seen him. You know why? What you got there was me thinking of a joke that I couldn't come up with in the transition to you talking about Blaine Capatch. It wasn't anything where Blaine Capatch was like, well, I could say something fun. Now, where'd you guys go?
We went to our local diner here on the corner.
I thought you said you don't like it, that place.
No, I do like
anymore.
That place.
Oh, okay. You said it's too electronic now.
No, I didn't say that. No, not that place.
Oh, you mean the classic place?
Yes.
The classic place
diner,
from the 50s.
the actual diner.
Ed DeBevic-like.
Yeah, except for without any character in the servers.
Oh, that was what they did, right?
Except
Was that
for
on
friendliness. The friendliness.
Right, they cut your tie off. And we didn't even wear ties. That was the funny part of it.
That was my actual sternum they cut through.
Which was not funny at the time.
But it was in character.
So was that fun?
It was delight, yes.
I love him. Are you guys working on something together without me?
No, it was really just the literal thing that pushed me was like, hey, Twitter's dying. And the only contact I really have with Blaine Capatch is on Twitter, so why don't we get together in real life, kind of a thing.
It's a very cool thing. What do you mean Twitter's dying?
I mean, Twitter's dying.
No, it's doing very well now. It is doing very well. Do you know that Elon Musk is the worst person in the world? And he's so terrible. And now his whole thing is he thinks if he mocks Soros, then it's less anti-Semitic.
All right.
Like, yeah, Soros. Yeah. Like I don't think he understands what comedy is. Did you see him the other day when was interviewed by David Faber? And David Faber said, now, when people hate everything about you, he goes, well, what I do is just like that movie in The Princess Bride. In that movie, it's like a scene from that movie. I do not care. That's what he did. And someone said he stole that from somebody else who stole that line from the movie. But what is he doing? I do not care. Like the great Princess Bride says, it's because he wants to be a comic. I'm telling you, he wants to be Jerry Seinfeld, evil Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes. No, he does. But it's more just any attention is good attention syndrome.
But isn't that scary that this guy's sending rocket ships everywhere and is fucking nuts and is smearing people and at the bottom he's like a Nazi? Like, in other words, like when you stop kidding all around, he's a Nazi. He's a fascist.
Yeah, no, I think so. And I think that's why, the appeal of being on Twitter sort of wanes day by day, grinds down.
I know it does. And then if you see, and it's really weird to see, someone's verified, that means they pay $8 a month,
or they have 1 million followers. They just gave them back to those people. That
they made that rule?
It's not really a rule so much as something that
it's not a rule. Can you think of anything? I'm sure it's been done before, but anything of this magnitude where some guy who, if I talk to friends of mine, like I talked to a friend of mine who was like, I used to love Elon Musk. He was telling me, he was like an interesting guy. You go on these programs and it's like people didn't expect this from him. They thought he was just kind of a eccentric genius kind of guy. And then he turned, or he's always been, is he not even much of a genius? Did he take all of his ideas? I mean, what is his, or he might be a genius that doesn't matter because he's evil at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's clear that he certainly has some major gaps in his genius, if he is. Yeah, I don't. It's not like he's a genius engineer, but he's clearly a genius at fucking getting projects going.
He reminds me of what's his name, Kinnear. Something you just said, like if he was taking, he's like Kinnear, not knowing the references he's talking about.
Kind
Doesn't
of,
it seem
yeah,
like that?
kind of. Well, and for the same reason, because he grew up overseas.
Right. And he's from Racistville. He was born and raised in South Racistville.
Yes, he was.
And if you're from South Africa, the first thing I want to hear from you is like, hey, before you get any ideas, I'm not a racist. That's the way a white person from South Africa. If hi, Gary Player, nice to meet you.
Yeah, because usually it's not suspicious when people open with "I'm not a racist."
Yeah, but if I met Gary Player, I go, Gary Player, you were great. What did you do during your life when you were a part of apartheid? And he would say, leave me alone, I'm Gary Player. I don't even know Gary Player. He might be dead, for all I know. You know who he is, right?
Sure. He's Gary Player.
I think it's time to go to the questions. When you see me flumpering, you see me struggling, right?
I do. I feel it more than I see it.
It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show.
Pickles says, Pickles wonders, the Edmonton Oilers have lost 9 of their last 10 postseason overtime games. Other than winning in regulation, how can they reverse this trend and win their first cup since Grand Fuhrer was between the pipes behind Messier and Gretzky? I don't think pipes is the right word, is it?
Oh, yeah, between the pipes, sure.
What does pipes mean?
The things holding up the net around the goalie.
Okay, I was trying to catch Pickles. Because first of all, Pickles says she was on the Dick Van Dyke Show, and then the first year, all her questions related to the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Right.
And now it's all, now they're trying to... Pickle's trying to show me that she's some kind of a hockey expert.
Right.
Did they lose or win? What happened with them?
I think they're done. I'm certain they're done.
Good point, Pickles. Pickles, you don't have to, because you answer everything. What do you get? A Farmer's Almanac to see what's going to happen for your June posts? All right. Dan Marsh says, oh, God, I lost him already. Dan Marsh says, hey, guys, what's your opinion of Broadway Danny Rose? And when you were first starting out, did you run into comedians like the guys at the table in the back of the Carnegie Deli?
I like Broadway Danny Rose. That's my opinion of it.
Me too. I thought it was a great movie.
Well, in Minnesota, when I was first starting out, first 5 years were in Minnesota, the comedians would actually meet at barbecue joints late at night. First at Rudolph's Barbecue, where we would often run into Prince.
Oh, my. When you say often, you mean once, right?
No, at least 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Because Prince would have the back room with his crew.
Yeah,
and then we'd come in, and it would be like, yeah, Prince is still back there. Or Prince is just about to leave. And then I think he became a vegetarian eventually. But at the time, he was a frequenter. And then we switched. There was a big Scott Hansen was the leader of this all, and Scott Hansen was like the 600-pound comedy don of Minneapolis.
Right.
So his food taste would shift, and we then shifted to the Market Barbecue, which was really the barbecue I grew up on. So it was a win. Which
you took me to.
Yes, we did. We did the 2 Jews and a Muslim eat pork. So we didn't have the delis. We had the barbecue back then. But I did, over the years, I've definitely seen old Jewish comedians at delis.
Well, I also think that one of the things that Woody Allen does excellently is get good performances out of people. So in that movie, I really felt like I knew I wasn't at a deli, the Carnegie Deli, but he really was able to convey the flavor since he started as a writer too. And he went, what would that be? Were they, the table that was meeting were just comics?
Yeah.
There?
Yeah.
Comics, yeah. Sandy Barron was running the.
But how do you think Woody Allen gets really good performances out of people?
Are you trying to get me to say something terrible?
I'm just trying to bust you into.
I don't know why
he doesn't do anything. He doesn't give any directions.
Right, but then I would say that. Then I actually believe in his. Okay, I don't want to get into this because we're going to talk about Woody Allen again. I believe in his philosophy of directing more than I believe in people who go, look, I want you to do it this way. He basically did not want to get in the actor's way, and so then. What does he get in the editing? He's not like a Phil Rosenthal. Don't change any line. He didn't say that. He was
no,
like,
but everyone comes up to Woody Allen and said it isn't going to fucking change a line for the most part.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because I've heard a million stories where they say
no. They go,
he
can I?
care.
They're all yeah. Well, I mean, when people finally go, oh, can I say something? He goes, yeah, whatever you want.
Right, exactly. But the point is, he captures good.
I know. I was just trying to.
I know you're fucking with me.
I was trying to
matter.
stir up some.
It doesn't matter what you say because I'm already
some
feeling bad.
Film talk.
I'm already. Okay. BD West says, guys, March 2011 was in Tucson. Okay, it's very hard when you put 2001 next to I. Guys, BD West says, guys, March in 2001, I was in Tucson to watch former Mariner great Randy Johnson pitch in a spring game. In the seventh, he slung one of his 100-mile-per-hour fastballs that exploded into a cloud of bird feathers short of the plate. The owner of that dove? One Stephen Elton Yates. I mean, seriously, BD West, I don't read well when I want to read well. Now you're trying to get me into a shaggy dog thing.
To stretch a running gag over 2 weeks for the guy.
I do remember seeing that. I thought that was in an actual game. I didn't know it was a spring training game. Who cares then?
That's right.
It didn't even
the
count.
seagull didn't even go on the official records.
All right, you pick up the reading now because I feel like something's wrong with me.
There's another one of these from BD West. I'm just going to skip it. I'm sorry, BD West, but it involves Will Chamberlain and Stephen Elton Yates. So
it's not really a question about Will Chamberlain.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes you just got to kill a running gag in its tracks.
Jason Parton said, I've thought about it quite a lot lately, and it's just not still. Oh, that's a weird way to write that. It's just not still rock and roll to me. Well, this is one of my betoirs. This is one of my pet peeves is when you put rock and roll into a song.
Yeah.
And that song is a perfect example of a horrible usage of rock and roll. And the Bob Seger is pretty bad too. Oh, put the smack you smoke it, bang, bang, bang. That's a terrible song. And so is this song, which is basically saying that Billy Joel, I don't care about the wreck. You could have an old speaker and then you have something new. I don't care if your turntable's older. I don't care if your double cassette deck is on the fritz. Anyway, you say music, reggae. I like rock and roll, you see.
That was fantastic.
I enjoyed that you encouraged me.
I just let him stay on the horse. Let him stay on the horse. Let's see.
What you gonna? I've got boo boo poison ivy. Who wants to have tea with me? I don't like these songs about
words.
Everything. What is it with him? Uptown Girl. Everything is some stupid fucking superficial message. He's not an uptown. He's from Long Island. All right, that's not downtown. He's not from the ghetto. All right, take it away. I'm done.
All right. This is from Tweet Bahara. This you already addressed off pod. This tweet about him trying to get you to calm down, bitching about somebody here.
Oh yeah. I was surprised about this because if you caught me when I was going off, there's many times a year you can go, I wonder if I check out.
Well, if we're going to talk about it, then let me read it.
Go ahead.
Tweepara says, the Austin contingent, Perush and myself are worried that you're going to work yourself into a stroke if you don't learn to let things go. Take a breath. Calm down. You'll still be funny, I promise. This is him responding to you, a tweet about Greg Gutfeld, apparently.
Gutfeld. Yeah, I don't even understand it. Actually, when you read it, it actually sounds worse to me. You know what I mean? In other words, it's almost like You'll still be funny if Greg Gutfeld has a career?
Well, and then you wrote, I've never been happier in my life. You should save this intervention for when I'm actually unhinged. Really? This is the tweet that made you worry? Tell Perush I'm fine.
No, tell the Perush.
Tell the Perush I'm fine.
Oh, boy. I mean, what can you do? You know what? People care about you. That's the main thing.
It is. No,
Dan Marsh says, Andy, you've been talking about getting your own doggy lately, but it seems like the only dogs you mention are Lucky and Clyde. Are there other dogs you interact with that are inspiring you to adopt? I got a great picture of 3 doggies.
You did.
That made me very excited. The team. I love your dog so much. And Susan's asking me questions about, which I think I answered, how does Clyde and Lucky like Cody? And you said sometimes they can, pretty good, but sometimes they get annoyed.
I think that sums it up well. I think I feel well represented in the conversation.
She loves the whole thing with it's what you having a pet is like. I don't know who you compare it to, but it's like you're not Joe Garagiola. Who's the guy in Florida who writes Dave? He's a comic. Dave. He's always in rock bands.
Oh, Dave Barry.
Right. I'm joking about it, but you have a way of talking about your pets that could become a movement.
Really?
I just love it. Nobody else talks about, other people who share your love and joy. So I'm working on the show. I'll let you know.
All right. Okay.
Show.
Andy Kindler's friend with a pet. Richard, woke as fuck Cole, responds to Pickles saying, Wayne Gretzky wasn't on the 1990 Edmonton Oilers team that won the Stanley Cup. He was traded to the LA Kings in 1988. Grant Fuhr was injured and didn't play in the 1990 finals. Bill Radford was the goalie that won. Hope this helps.
Now, are these people all sitting around with thesauruses and dictionaries and encyclopedias, or are these all Canadian hockey fans?
Well, it seems that there's Richard Cole seems to be a pretty good hockey fan.
He knows what's going on.
Whereas Pickles, will throw a team under the bus for a joke, apparently.
Well, Pickles stole her name, right?
That's true. They'll throw a lot of holy things under the bus.
Stephen Elton Yates says, guys, when I was at the Fiddling Horse, oh, come on. Now he's going to make me cry. Guys, when I was at the Fiddling Horse premiere in New York City and I saw Andy receive an Apple Watch as a gift. Andy, do you still have the watch? Did you figure out how to use it? Okay. This was a gift that was given. Who was it given to me by?
Dana Schwartz, I believe.
Right. And it was a very great gift. And when I first got it, I was very, very excited.
Yeah, it was great. It was really nice of you, Dana, to give Andy that gift. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to thank him for it. But, no, I just, after a while, I was just like, no, I'm not going to wear, I don't think, do you have an Apple Watch?
I don't.
Yeah, I just didn't think I'm going to put stuff on my wrist.
Thankfully, it was a used Apple Watch that he gave you. It wasn't.
I still have it.
I would think so.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like he,
That was a nice thing he did. I keep it by Miami.
It wasn't like, a recording studio thing.
I know, I just saw that today.
It wasn't like an 8-track that just literally had never gotten use. At least someone used
it's right here. I saw it today.
Yeah.
You know what? This really actually depresses me. Not that you're doing it, but it actually was like, what are you doing with your life?
But it did fulfill my mission, which was to get you to stop talking about when you're going to get an 8-track.
Right. So wow. Luckily, you were saying, I don't think we're going to hear more from Pickles today. But Pickles is back. Sorry to come back twice, but I have a pertinent question. When you perform, do you like crowd members yelling out alternative punchlines or otherwise stepping on your material? I kind of think it sucks, even when well-intentioned. It's so weird. All of a sudden, these fake people get upset about something that you don't even know what they're on about.
Well, just the nature of your question when you say stepping on your material, no, we don't like that. I think I can speak for all comics when we say, no, step on our material. We don't like that.
But even when it's well-intentioned, when is someone yelling out something at a club ever been well, sometimes, I guess.
No, sometimes, I mean,
people are good.
Yeah, I mean, there is the occasion where someone does yell out something funny.
They do.
And if you can play it right and admit that it's funny rather than be mad, you can have a moment.
Yes. I've decided that I'm not going to ever get angry at crowds again. And also...
Oh, that should help. That should really help.
It also happens at the same time that I'm not performing anywhere.
Ah, good. Christopher Citro said, we recently visited Storm King Sculpture Park in the Catskills. It's silly, but we didn't realize until we saw a billboard entirely in Hebrew that we were in what was once the Borscht Belt. In your long careers, picked up any good Borscht Belt stories or jokes? Well, all the jokes are Borscht Belt jokes, basically. Every joke has been through the Borscht Belt in some form.
Is the Borscht Belt where those hotels were that like Dirty Dancing was filmed?
Yeah, it's the Catskills.
Okay. I don't know why calling it the Borscht Belt makes it seem like they went on the road and went somewhere else.
Well, there was a lot of resorts.
Right. Up in there. Not so much now, but there were.
Yes.
Look at that picture. The picture of people frolicking. But they don't look like Jews.
That's Grossinger's.
Oh, yes. And I was at one of them way after... because I hosted the movie Dirty Dancing, and we went up there to the old resort that was just about closed. It was like the famous one of the two famous ones, the Nevele or I don't know. What a great story.
Stephen Elton Yates says, fellows, did you know that B.D. West was the peace polisher at the Fischer Spassky matches in 72 in Reykjavik? What's a good red table wine?
I don't know that I want to be in the middle of this, which seems like a very passionate argument amongst fans of the show. Richard Woka is back again to say, hi, Josh. Thanks for your thoughtful answer when I asked about your favorite Steve Winwood song. Mine is Can't Find My Way Home. Wow. I have a music question for Andy. What's your favorite Broadway show song? Are there any cast recordings you've played lots of times? Hair. Over and over and over. It's Hair.
And Jesus Christ Superstar, it seems.
And like. Jesus Christ Superstar. You know what? I don't have a song in my heart right now, and I know I wouldn't go see something like Oklahoma. So I'll still go with Hair. And the song? Hair.
NLP says, it is that time of year to summit Everest. If you had the physical condition, apologies for assuming you don't, and an all-expense paid trip plus training with a reputable outfit, would you attempt it? I absolutely would not.
I wouldn't either. I'm not stupid. Are they saying are we stupid? No, I couldn't do it. I don't have any of those desires.
Yeah,
no bungee.
They're saying if you could do it, basically.
Right, we would not do it.
It still would not fulfill enough.
If the physical part wasn't a challenge, I still wouldn't. Well, if it wasn't a challenge, then maybe you'd be a person who likes it.
It has no value if there's no challenge involved. So
yeah,
somewhere in there, no, there is no combination of things that would make that worth the risk to discomfort ratio.
Right. I would say I'm risk averse.
NLP
I don't want it.
Follows up with, and have you ever read Into Thin Air by John Krakauer? I recommend it. It's gripping from the first page. Andy could add it to his listening queue for his afternoon wanderings through Sherman Oaks.
I just realized that would be a good one to get.
I have read it, and that's part of the reason that I quickly answer no. I have no desire to scale Everest
because it's really scary. That
It's
counts.
disastrous. Yes.
But does he come? He's still alive now, right?
John Krakauer is the author.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Well, I knew that. I'm not that dumb. Why would I not know he was the author? I sometimes think you're tailoring my questions for someone way more stupid than me. And I'm not stupid. I wouldn't say so.
No. Smartest guy I'm talking to right now.
Clarity Repa. I never know how to pronounce the last name of Clarity. What if I question the bad? Why does good get all the attention? Meds good, swallowing bad. Spitting still worse, even today. Andy Kindler, are you swallowing or are you wallowing? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, recently I've decided that when I'm spitting out stuff, that I shouldn't make a loud noise just to prove to Susan I brush my teeth. You know what I mean?
Is that what it is? You're just performatively brushing?
Sometimes I do want to let her know that it's happening in there. Sounds like you're sawing through You're sawing through someone's gum. Do it again. Seth Dick the 15th says, my neighbor plays acoustic guitar at open mics, and it's fine, I guess. But now he wants us to go to a paying gig. I can only think of 1 million things I'd rather do with my free time and money. How do I tell them politely that there's no chance in hell I'd ever come? You can't tell them that.
There is no polite way to say that. Yeah.
You have to lie, and you also, for the rest of your life, you have to come up with excuses of, I definitely am going to check it out.
Right.
And then, if it's really a neighbor, you're going to have to go to a stupid show once.
The good news is you pretty much have to just go once.
Right, but don't fool yourself that that's happening in your future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I like to call things like that theater obligata.
Well, isn't that? I mean, that's the nightmare about a neighbor, right? Isn't that the nightmare neighbor scenario?
No, electric guitar would be the nightmare neighbor.
All right, Jim Rockford. Can you believe this? I didn't even know that he listened to the. Andy was on one of the funniest pods ever with Todd Glass. Can you comment on Todd ending show, please? I just realized this from recent shows where he talks about ending the show. But yeah, I'm very, the thing about it is I suffer from not going to go to people's houses and stuff like that. So, because I'm still in the pandemic mode, but I love doing that show.
Yeah, but it's over, Andy. It's not, he ended the show.
So the opportunities are going to be less for me in that area.
God damn. Tune in to this show. How about that? Why don't you tune into this show? Dan Marsh says, do you guys like art movies? Which would you recommend? I want to Koreana Squatsy. Life Out of Balance.
Well, I would say, I think if you want to say Ghost World, is that what you want? Because that's a great movie, but I don't think that's an art movie.
That's a movie about art more than it is.
Well, what's an art movie then? Art house movie?
That's what they mean, yeah.
But what is that? I mean, that could be any independent. I love 400 Blows. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but you don't.
I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet. Right. Which would you recommend?
I don't have a lot of patience for art movies in and of themselves.
Well, wait a second. But something can be offbeat. Like I liked, was it Stranger Than Paradise or?
No, there's plenty of movies that I think would be categorized as art movies that I love.
Right.
But I don't seek them out because they are art movies.
I think you've said it for both of us, and I say that whatever you said, I ascribe to that.
But I feel like art movie is somewhat in the eye of the beholder.
True. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have to break them up that way.
Larry Harold says, thanks for the laughs, fellas. Andy, if you could talk to the subject of your classic song, Karen, today, what would you say to her? Still not available.
I don't know, but I
still don't have time to help you in any way.
Karen.
Can't take on your problems still. In fact, I might be more emotionally unavailable than then.
Karen. Are you kidding me, Karen? I'm 77 and you're 65. I have less interest in you now.
You're robbing the girdle.
I can't. That's very good. Johnny Whoop says, Andy, one of my favorite things is when you sing because the voice obs. Oh, obvious. But I like when you Andy scat. So my request is that you sing 2 verses of a song you only know 1 verse of. Okay. Okay. So
any song in the universe.
Okay. So, it has to be public domain. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen. I know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. I'm flat. Damn it. This is where I wanted to prove. I'd like to prove I can sing. So I try to do this thing.
I really need this job. Oh God, I need this job.
This show.
I can do that. I can do one little schmoopy doopy, every little meepy doop boop. What are you talking about?
Greg Kelly says, as I walked into the dog park just now, I noticed a used condom. Ugh. I suppose this would be a good place to sneak out for an assignation. Where's the oddest place James Mason saw evidence of such a rendezvous?
I don't even understand how this. You don't go to notice a used condom and think, "Ooh." Is that what you do when you find? I go, "Oh my God, the place hasn't been cleaned."
The oddest place I've ever seen evidence of a sexual rendezvous.
That's the question.
Well, you know, I've been married quite a while, so my bedroom. How about that? Bazinga! Am I right, fellas? Bazinga!
What a terrible end to your career, James Mason. You were such a respected. Even that horrible movie you were in about the future Hitlers was not as low as you've gone now on this show.
We're shutting down your I'm shutting down your compliments.
Why you're not? I can't do that voice. Hitler. Who is he? Is he Hitler? No, he's Mengele. God.
We're shutting down the program, Mengele. You will not shut down the program. I will not have this program shut down because of some insolent Jew. It is not the insolent Jew, it's the funding.
That would be a good name.
There just isn't the demand for young teen Hitlers that there used to be.
And Night Shyamalan Jew. All right, now we're going to switch. Folks, I know that this is the part where there's already been a prepared... What do you call these things? Are they tangos? Are they buzzes? Are they skipzoids?
It's a tango buzz skipzoid, yeah. Moldylocks says, whenever I'm at my lowest point and hurtling towards an uncertain fate, there are two, and only two things on the internets I listen to that never fail to pull me out of a bottomless pit of darkness. One is Gilbert on the old Stern Show, and the second is Andy on the old Todd Glass podcast.
Oh, my God. You know, this is really sad to me. It's very sad that this is happening. That is very sad. Now I'm getting sad about the whole Todd Glass thing. And I don't know, how can I...
Make it about yourself? Catherine says, quote, I have to lick my wounds now. My wounds are delicious. They're prepared with a dry rub. This comment made me, from a recent test show, almost made me fall out of my chair laughing. Good one, Josh. Love your dry rub sense of humor. Thank you so much.
What is this? Are you going to read that Zeke Fossey thing?
I'm on Dan Wade still.
Oh. Where is that?
Dan Wade.
I can't. Where is that?
Sit back.
You fuck.
Sit back.
Okay, I'll be back. Can I do this, Josh? Would you be so upset if I just kind of got comfortable with my mic? Ow!
Oh, he pulled a groin.
Okay, go ahead.
Dan Wade.
You don't see anything you shouldn't see, do you? The sausage being made. I can't even relax like a normal human being.
Oh, hi. Hello there.
Just get away from me, you stupid penis. I hate you, you soft penis. You know what? If I could have cut my penis off at 60 when it was starting to have problems, if it's because I've avoided your horrible impression.
Stop being hard on me. I don't do it to you.
It's like a guy who's tired of writing dick jokes, and he's just almost like it's a breakdown. He's at a breakdown. I gotta come down where your penis is making hamburgers and tell you to go back.
Dan Wade.
Read to me, Uncle.
God, I hate you. Dan Wade asks, are either of you chess players?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah, but not good.
Okay, but at one time you thought you were going to be great, I assume.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I mean, it wasn't like crazy where it didn't take me long to dissuade myself.
All right.
That it's not going to happen. But when I first taught anything, I wanted to be the best in the world.
Right.
Oh, do you play chess?
No.
Not even...
I mean, I have. I know how the pieces move, but
right.
There isn't any game that you have to think 3 moves ahead that I'm good at. Delicious Mix says, conceding that you once thought he was funny is enough for me to stop shilling for the Ace Man. I think that's Adam Carolla, the Ace Man. I've just listened to the guy almost every day for over a decade, so when you all were shredding him, I felt like I had to defend my stepdad. To be fair, I probably wouldn't like the CNN version of him either. Now, on the bigger, more philosophical questions, rumor has it that Jay Leno has a huge hog on him. Andy's penis, what animal would you feel best describes you? On a side note, I recently discovered that hamsters explode when they fail to release their gas. Peace and love, gents.
Oh my God, there's so many images there. There's so many disturbing images. That's a tough one for someone who's reclining and not looking at the copy.
Well, the question was for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, if I was an animal, what animal would best describe me?
Mm-hmm.
I would say a sad, soft penis.
Well, all I'm going to say is I think it's sad that someone doing an impression of my penis is getting more work than me.
Am I right?
Is part of the impression that you're not even like strongly talking in a way?
No, it has to be deadpan at all times. I'm so excited to be here.
Stop talking about this character like it's one of your.
That's why it's perfect. Is my inability to get excited. Don't you understand?
I do kind of get it. I get it, but only when I think about my own penis, which, by the way, is so soft that some cats have enjoyed sleeping on it. That was a funny idea in my head. That cat, but not cats, though. It wouldn't be cats, right?
That cats want to play with it? What happens?
No, not say it. It's like it's so soft that kitties curl up on it and use it as a pillow. My penis area. Do you think is there any chance that we have alienated the women who are turned on by us who've been listening to the podcast?
I think if we had an entirely different penis character, it would have been more of a turnoff. But because it's non-threatening and non-boastful,
right?
I think it remains endearing.
But nobody finds our show stimulating. Nobody listens to it before they go out on Friday night date night.
What does stimulating mean?
You know what's terrible? You people at home, it's bad enough that you have to hear the impression. I have to see the winding up of the impression, which looks like a salamander. Well.
I prefer Newt.
Is this the show you envisioned?
No. I envisioned you sitting up, first of all.
I know. I love my new thing. You can't see my soft... Oh, of course you can't see my soft penis. It's low.
It is low. You're only 5'5". What do you want? I've been seeing Daisy Petunia says, I've been seeing the writers pick it, and they are all so proud of their witty signs. For me, it reeks of smugness and makes me less sympathetic. Seems the chaff is choking out the wheat on the picket lines. On the other hand, I suppose the least funny writer in Hollywood deserves affordable chemo when their time inevitably comes.
Oh my God! Who is this?
This is Daisy Petunia, and she does not like labor, apparently.
Well, I can't go with you on that. Although there's no although. I think SAG's going to strike. He's going to vote to authorize it.
Looks that way, yeah. I'm all in.
I can't. You know what? Is it so much scabbing, or is it another way to look at it is you're using your own ingenuity when you break union things and you. So I write under a different name during the strikes.
All right.
Big fucking deal. Okay, that was a bad joke. I'm not writing under different names. Take it away, Josh.
What, that last section? And I also think...
Take it away. I just got the joke. And you know what? For me, if people want to know, how do you listen when you don't listen? What's a good way to start is you just stay with it. Try and stay with the thing the person said, and then you might get it.
Right. Back Guano here. And by the way, Daisy Petunia, the fact that you've been seeing all these written out signs is part of the method of the written out signs. It increases press for the strike.
Daisy knows that. I don't know. What do I know? Daisy knows that. It's not even a real person. It's a Petunia.
Back Guano here says, I'm sorry. Back Guano says, Back Guano here. The show's post 300 episodes have been savagely tremendous. I have listened to all episodes of the show, and going off the Jimmy Cliff is perhaps the best joke, in my opinion, of the pod thus far. Thank you very much.
I don't remember
Outstanding.
the joke. What was the joke?
I said you were doing some. You were saying how the harder they come is your only thing, and I referenced that I was willing to go off the Jimmy Cliff with you.
Oh man, I will agree that our show's past 300 have been on fire, which is absolutely something I would never say, and is absolutely going to jinx it. I've been having fun.
Well, there's a reason why we've done test shows, is to make it better before we,
Are you still going with that premise? I think people think it's a joke.
What? Anyway, they loved the joke. I fell out of my chair belly laughing, and the fact that Andy did not internalize it being about him was absolutely tremendous. It was a hyperbaric chamber orchestra. Amazing. All the best. You're back.
That makes me happy. That's a very nice thing to say. Very nice thing to say. That's really cool.
Spike and Josh, what books are you listening to /, reading lately? Have either of you picked up Stephen Wright's novel Harold? I have not.
Who's Spike? What is Stephen Wright? I'm sorry, go ahead.
What?
Stephen Wright has written a book?
Yes.
No, I'm still on Ricky Lee Jones. One of the best books I've ever listened to.
I'm reading like 3 books right now. One, I'm reading James Burrows' book, which I don't like at all.
He's the director guy, yeah.
Yeah.
What don't you like about it? Why don't you like it?
Because it's filled with humble brags and other brags.
Right. Oh, okay. That's not good. So I was kind of right about him then. Not liking him when he came in, and that was a big part that I was up for. And he was like, "Can we just get this going? Can we get this over with? Because I want to go watch the Laker game."
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that. A little bit that I sensed was real.
It's sort of like it's the smugness of Mike Nichols without the talent or humor of Mike Nichols, kind of.
He doesn't really have much of a sense of humor, does he?
Well, I mean, he has a mechanical sense of humor, but it's
right.
it's he's a good sitcom director, but it's not rocket science, people.
Is that why? You know what? Maybe he knows that deep down he's resentful of it.
He might.
So he's defensive.
Yeah.
And maybe he's defensive because his father was in the business, and so people are probably saying, your father was in, your father was in.
I wonder what Abe would think of this, huh?
Right.
So the other thing I'm reading Mary Jo Peel's book, which I think is really great.
Oh, cool. What is that?
I can't think of what it's called, but it's about her, I think it's like Dumb Dumb Dumb. It's called, but it's about it's a memoir, but it's based around this card catalog of book reviews that her mother had. She did like a little card of every book she read. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's a good device.
That sounds great.
And I'm reading a book about the Replacements as well, the band.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
One of the guys died. Is that one of the main things?
Yeah, Bob Stinson died.
Why am I so simplistic that that's what I would say? What's the basic thing? Is there one of their leaders died?
No, I mean he died years after they were done. So.
Well, that sounds like a great book because they're really great. But in the Ricky Lee Jones book, she talks about Lowell George, and for some reason I'd forgotten. 2 things I'd forgotten. I didn't remember that he had died, and then I remembered that that's all I knew about him was that he died when I first got into him. But then I thought he had died in a car crash, a plane crash, which he had not. He died of a heart attack. Was anybody in Little Feat in an accident, or am I just going straight to the Leonard Skinner or whatever, mixing things up?
Yeah, I don't think there was any. I think Little George was the tragedy of Little Feat.
Yeah. His version of one of her songs is great, called Easy Money. Does a great version of it.
Munson 3786 says, coming up on the Tea Time movies, Swoozie Kurtz, Kurt Russell, Russell Crowe, Cheryl Hines, Duncan Hines, and Skippy the certified yoga instructor, and Andy Hardy visits the pharmacist.
Excellent. Unless you copied and pasted that. Very good job.
Zeke Fosse has one of his small columns. Hi, guys. I suppose you could say pencils up, as I have yet another problem. My wife comes from a big family that lives near each other in another state. We're not especially close to them, which is surprising to say considering my intentions and rather pointed judgments, as you'll soon see. One of his siblings adopted a child about 13 years ago, and as the kiddo became a teenager, there's been a lot of friction, which is like turbulence on a plane. I mean, you deal with it. Okay. However, my brother-in-law has effectively disowned the child, turning them out of the house and sending them to live with their spouse's parents. Resilient parenting, huh? Jesus fucking Christ, I think is what JFC stands for. Everyone in the family has strongly condemned this action, though I'm the one speaking right now. My heart breaks for this child, whom I have met a handful of times at family events. That's less than 5, gentle reader. Imagine what happens when someone I do know is hurt. Anywho, my wife and I want to let the adopted kid know they still have a family in us. The rest of my husband's family feels the same, I guess, and continues to make sure the kid's invited to family events. We don't have kids, and most of the children we interact with via local friends. And I barely remember the kids' names, if I'm honest. Do you have any advice, ideas on how we can best support a reserved teenager in another state who's going through a devastating ordeal? So far, my best idea is to take the kid and a friend to a local amusement park, but that seems like a really awkward situation as we are strangers, right? Or should we just set up a college fund and get out of the way? Or another way to assuage the guilt of not being close with them?
I think the college fund is good.
Yeah, I don't think you need to force yourself into their life, but you could make them, money is good,
right.
And messages of support and love are good. And then,
well, I just want to say this, Zeke. Why don't you call me and tell me directly these things instead of going through the
having Josh have to read? Yeah.
Parenting is a rough business, or something like that.
Something like that. Family. Ooh.
Oh, am I wrong?
Right? Georgie DiCarlo says, "Come to Oregon. We'd love to see you in person. Chunk chapters often come up unexpectedly when we're shuffling through our music. It still makes us laugh. Thanks for that." No, thank you for that.
I get that too when I put my stuff on. When I used to have a library, and I would put it on shuffle.
Yeah, I was about to say your stuff comes up, not other people's.
No, you're on my Chunks is on my stuff.
Is
yeah,
it?
Of course.
It is.
Is he? Is it? Wait, stop laughing like a crazy man. Stop being delighted in a strange way.
He likes me. He really likes me. Terrence Caulfield says, "Hey, Andy, with all the walking you do, what kind of sneakers you wearing?"
These, I used to wear Asics, but now I think this thing called Hoka. It's really I can't remember the name. I think it's Hoka, but they just fit you like a glove. Very comfortable.
Why would you want a shoe to fit like a glove?
I don't know. I'm not good at anything descriptive language, but I love shoes that are cushiony. The more cushion, the better.
Huh.
God, thank God I'm not in that business. Hey, come on down to Andy's running shoes. Well, you know what I always say, the more cushion, the better.
Wampus Reynolds says, "Hey fellas, Dan Wade there is doing 15 minutes of stand-up on Monday, which will be his longest set yet. I can't go and it kills me. I won't see it. He's funny as all get out. So would you tell him to break a leg or two? Thanks."
Where's he playing?
Well, you're asking me like I have another.
Oh, well, where does he live? Where does he live? Give me some more background. Well, good luck. I don't say good luck. Break a leg. Yes. I love that people are out. I love that Dan Wade's doing stand-up. I love it.
Yes.
And people need to do it more in lieu of me.
I'm in total mode right now because I have a gig in a week and a half.
I forget. You're going up to what's a bad word for Minneapolis that the people in Minneapolis don't ever call it?
The mini apple?
What's a tanky?
What's a tanky?
Yeah, someone called me a tanky. Is it something to do with Minnesota?
No, I have no idea.
No, I'm losing it. You better speed. How many more we got? You better have enough energy to get through this.
For Brentman says, "Can I request more Boys from Brazil content, or will that shut the program down?"
I think it's. I love it.
"We're shutting down the program, but not before we say go to buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral and support the program."
Are you going to do a thing where you hang up as you're doing a bit?
Should I?
I don't think you could.
"We're hanging up the program, Mingler. You can't hang up the program. But if we do, we will be able to hang up on an insolent Jew. Oh, let's get rid of the insolent Jew.
Anyway, you say music, reggae, I like rock and roll, you see.